You. Okay. So I said all that to say, I asked God, what do we need to talk about? And he said persistence. And I was just like, okay. So this is why. So I don't ever, if you ever remember the show with it was called Blood, Sweat, and Heels.
Hmm.
I remember that. Remember the girl Daisy?
Yes.
And she passed away. Remember Daisy?
Hmm.
So I was in prayer one day and her name, and I was like, why do we need to know about Daisy? So there's like this, they have all of these effects of women, right? And so I looked up the Rihanna effect and I looked up I looked up Daisy first. And then I looked up the Rihanna effect. Rihanna is such a multifaceted woman, right? She's got business, she's got children, she's got relationship. Um, and Rihanna's pretty, she's pretty dynamic, right? And then you look at Daisy. Daisy was a person who showed up and she just did a thing. And in the process of her doing it, it was like this thing came and it took her out. But when you talk about Daisy, Daisy was um she was so sophisticated. So she was so sweet, so sophisticated, and the most hated out of the group. Do you
I
ever
didn't watch the show, but
you
I know
remember?
that.
Okay, so if you ever watched the show, Daisy was the most hated out of the group because she was just Daisy. She didn't change. She was just Daisy. And I remember watching the show because it was like that piece of there's black women. And I want to say it was probably like the first show that I've ever seen that was like it was geared towards black women in power and that had, and Daisy was hated. And then when she got cancer, I think it was even more of a burden, like because you never would have thought this sweet person, now she's sick, and it took her real fast. So she went real fast. So I looked up this thing and I asked, explain, like, how can I explain Daisy um and how she corresponds to women in business and how I can connect it to this group. So they were like, she's affectionately known as the queen of effortless chic. Was more than it. They said she was more than like a TV personality. She was a style expert. She was just her smile was just amazing. She lived with she was just authentic. She was just Daisy. That's all I can say. Um, and so her legacy is kind of like it's gone. And so I don't know, and this is what I'm saying. I don't know why God brought her to me in that moment. Like her name just was like, and I was like, Daisy. And I seen her face and I was like, why do we need to talk about her? So Daisy is in business. She's offers this powerful connection when it comes down to being passionate, being authentic, and it can be something where we kind of hone in on Daisy. So it says, so how can Daisy relate to women in business? So she's bold, her bold
Hmm.
self-expression. Daisy was very, very, very expressive. Um, and I believe when I watched it, they took her kindness for this, like, oh, like she wasn't um like they didn't take her serious. Okay. And so they just kind of treated her, but she built a brand on being unapologetically Daisy, right?
Hmm.
So in business, especially for us as women, that's the key, just showing up and being authentic, right? And so when spirit tells me, "Oh, well, you know what? You need to not worry about what people say." And so I'm authentically myself. And I remember when I started and I'm going through my TikToks and I got these memories coming up and I'm like, man, I was sharp. Like I was on it. Now it's like I'm afraid to even post a video. I fumble over my words. It's like what happened? Where did that girl go? Um, And it comes from because now there's more people watching. Um, More people that I would have thought would have been friends, but they're kind of secretly watching. And so I feel like if I give some kind of like some nuance of, being, having this mindset, removing the limiting and mistaken beliefs, it's like, oh, what is she talking about? So that's where that comes from. So bringing your personality to your brand, like when we talk about yeah, yeah, yummy, what does that? What is your personality in your brand? What's the characteristics? What's the attributes of that? Mine's is for real. So when I talk about being for real came in 2005, I want to say. Um, and this was like, was it before or after? I want to say it was before I went to jail. Yes, it was before I went to jail. So before I went to jail, I had this, it was like a event planning thing with some friends. And we were on the phone and we were talking, and I was just like, you know what? I'm for real. Like, either you're gonna ride with me or you're gonna get run over. And me at the time, my best friend and I at the time, and I had said that, and for real, it was like it just jumped into my spirit, like that term for real. And so then I had a one of my frat brothers. He had his company called Just Doing It. And so we came together and we formed this thing, Just Doing It for Real.
Mm.
And so we did an event, and I can see the event happening, right? And we did this, it was like this massive beach party. We have like a reservoir out here, but it's got like, So I was like, let's do that. So we're promoting. And I realized then I'm very tough when it comes down to business. Like I'm very like I want things to go a certain way. I want it to be a certain way because my name is attached to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it went off without a hitch, right? So it went off it was kind of wonky with the guys. They were supposed to hand out flyers. They got drunk and didn't do that. And then um, the the founder of Just Doing It was should have been corresponding with the founder of For Real, and he's talking to the friend because he liked the friend. It was just a lot of things that were taking place. Although we were still friends, I got out of friend mode and I got into more business. Like this is a business. Like we're doing something, and we're doing something major here in Colorado. This
Yeah.
wasn't anything that was just like small. And I was the first one who thought of it. Like, let's do a a beach party. Like, you remember, I think MTV. So MTV had the MTV beach parties. You remember those?
Mhm. I
So I was
remember
like,
those.
let's do one here. And it it went off with a few hitches, but when I tell you, people were asking, when are you guys going to do another one? So nobody really knew that I did it. So we're kind of walking around, and I was kind of messing around with Nevaeh's dad at the time, and they had asked, and I was like, "This is my party, like this is my event," and they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So to them, it's like they had no idea that like, and that is where I get to. Like people downplay my intellect so badly that when something gets pulled off to that magnitude, then they're just like, wow, Um, so the next year, someone else tried to come in and duplicate what we had done. Didn't work out, but I can say that I'm initiator. So I start a thing, I initiate a thing, and I would like to keep things going. So anyway, so when we talked yesterday, you and I were on the phone, and when I was telling you about I oh the icky guy, I got it, and um, it's turning your passion into a profit. You have a passion, and it is food, and it is feeding people, and it is feeding the masses, and it is cooking. That's my thing. That's what you like to do, right?
Yeah.
And so when we look at Daisy, Daisy turned her passion into a profit, right? So each of us have a gift, right? And the gift is um that's the benefit of who we are, so turning that passion into profit, right? So for Daisy, it was this thing from she was a beauty editor, and then she went on screen. And so she turned her love of style, because she was like, she had, I mean, it was her, she was so cute. She was just cute to me. But she turned her love of a style into a career. So what she teaches us in this moment is she teaches us that our gifts will make room for us. And I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say that. So our gifts make room for us. But we have to put them to work. The Ten of Swords. No, the Ten of Wands. You're holding on to this gift, and instead of you using the gift, you're just holding on to it like, oh, so when we look at what Yaya Yummy has done just in Jersey, it's a matter of what can it do in Virginia, um and how can we make it, how can you make it, that fulfilling thing. Okay. So resilience, and it was like persistence, and it's I said, well, God, persistence. But it's like faith fueled. We have to be able to know that we came together 4 years ago and we were so messed up. And I'm not even going to sit here and say that I was the greatest, because I was just starting on my spiritual journey and I was learning me as I'm learning how to give that part of myself to another person. So when we talk about that, it's even in in her illness, she still tried to go on. So she stayed happy, she stayed joyful, she had grace, and she stayed in her purpose. And so with that, it's like she was so courageous. And I remember there was one episode where she didn't have her meds, and she was supposed to get her meds, but she went to a party. And it was like kind of like an event. So she went to this event and she didn't get a ride, or something that happened with the Uber. And so she couldn't get a ride. So she couldn't get her meds because at that time she was in chemo. So she needed to take some medication. And so she didn't get it. And so she sat outside. And this was the banger. All of the people that said that they were with her, they left her, and she was
Mm.
sitting outside and she literally was crying because she didn't get her medication. Okay. So, with that, when we talk about everything that we've gone through just as women and in this group, um, our courage speaks for itself, because in those times where, you're being evicted and you have to move from this place to this place. And I don't even want to say you were evicted. It was just like, it's time for us to move. I've done all that I can do. In those moments when God is doing those things, it's like He's shifting us out of there, because I got to get you to this place. I have to get you to the land of milk and honey. And if I don't do what I'm doing, you will never go there. If I
Yeah.
don't put you in these situations, you will never go there. So never think that when you're going through a situation that that's something that it's a bad thing. That's God shifting you, because I got to get you to the place that you say you want to be. You talking about you want to be free, because can you imagine, like, the slaves are just murmuring, complaining about being slaves, and then they finally get free, and then they're still murmuring and complaining. He's just like, because
Yeah.
what do you want? Because which one do you want? And we
Yeah.
do the same thing. And so I am learning. That day I told you, I sat on this floor and I was tears streamed, because a situation pops up and I'm thinking, God, I hadn't even got comfortable. Like, I haven't even gotten, like, what? And so the situation comes and you're just like, are you serious right now? And so I'm just sitting, and I was home by myself this one day, and it was like He was telling me, come here, because I need you to come to me so I can help you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm not doing it, and I'm gonna cry, but I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm not doing it to um set you back. I'm not doing it to make you fail. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it because I need you to trust me, because I have
Mm.
so much that I need you to do. But if you don't come to me and just be resilient and trust me, you know, you're never going to do it. You're never going to get out of your own way. You're always going to be in this place. And you tell me you don't want to be here. You don't want to be a slave to a thing, but yet here you are being a slave to the thing. And I want to free you from that. So when we talked about the Moses and the Caleb's and the Joshua, and that whole time I had it all wrong. It wasn't Joshua, it was literally Caleb. Caleb was the one that was just like, we can't keep doing this. And so when we think about the Caleb in us, it's like I can't keep doing this. I've been doing this now for 40 years. And can you imagine Caleb just like we've been doing this for 40 years. When are
Yep.
we gonna stop, right? And so I just was like, God, I've been here. And he's like, but I'm trying to get you from there to where I told you you were going to be. And you keep asking me for it, but now don't think that this is a setback. Don't think that these things that are happening are a setback. These are things that I got to push you into that. And I'm
Hmm.
pushing you into faith. I'm pushing you to be resilient. I'm pushing you to take courage. I'm pushing you to get out of your own way and get out of your fucking comfort zone and do it. Okay?
Yes.
Because it becomes that burden. It's like literally it's a burden. And it becomes that thing where we're sitting here, we're crying, and you can see it on our faces when they come online. You could see it. It's just like because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Depression
Exactly.
only comes when you are not doing the thing that I told you to do. That is where that comes from. Sadness, depression, all of those things comes because you're not the inner your core is she's screaming. She's like, "Oh my God, we got to get out of here." And so it becomes this thing where it's like it's waxing, it's tired, it's the 10 of wands, and you're just burdened because there's something you should be doing, but you're holding on to it and you're not doing it. Okay? So we want to build a legacy, and that's what we keep talking about. We're like, oh, I want to build a legacy for my children, right? But are you? So when we talk about Daisy, she was always she was so cute. I just can't just get the word, like she was just so cute. She was always lifting others up. She was always like the peacemaker. She was always the one that was trying to bring people together, but all the while they treated her so bad. It was a crazy show. Um, so with that, we as women, we can learn from her example. True success isn't just about Yaya Yummy making 20 million. It's not about that. It's about the impact that you're making. And I've always told you this, that you need to spread the word or give that message as you're making a plate. That even looks like if you bake a cake and you send a cake to someone, it's putting the message in a cake. So here's, I got some lighters. Where are my lighters? Little simple little lighter that I got off of Amazon, right? And it's just the ones that they look like they're not like lighters. They're like the ones where you push the button. They're electrical lighters. I've never
Okay.
seen it. I'll get it. So anyway, Nevaeh, can you bring me that lighter out of the bathroom? So I got the lighter and I opened up the box and there's this letter on the inside. And it's telling me, thank you so much. The purpose of thank you for purchasing this lighter. So it's just the one where you click the bottom and then it lights like that. So it's not like a light. It's just a
Oh, okay.
so I bought the lighter and I got this message in the box and it was saying, thank you so much for purchasing, this lighter. And just so you know, your purchase is helping us help others, right? So when I said to you years ago, a year ago, I think it was either a year or two, you even just putting a message in the bag, write a message, give them a message, and just have a message of hope. Because if I open up a meal and all I'm thinking about is the food, but I probably need a word in that moment. So if you
Yeah.
give me something that'll touch me where I need it in that moment, that's just like, oh my gosh. So I'm doing better, but not as where I want to be, sending out the emails. And I sent out one and one of the ladies responded and she was like, thank you so much. I needed that. And so I thought, I remember 2004, I'm sending out newsletters. I'm literally creating all of these newsletters. I'm doing all this stuff. And it was like, what happened? Where did she go? Where did that girl go where she was mailing out the newsletters, where you're giving hope in a letter? You're giving, it's like a message in a bottle. So when you're looking at Yeah, Yeah, Yummy, it's like giving that message and you're telling them this is what you need. If someone comes to you and I'm very more like I'm an empath. So I told you that day I was at work, literally at my occupation. And these two men whiffed past me and heard this sound. So the clairaudient in me heard money. If you've never heard the sound of money, it's amazing. The sound of money just ting. And I turned and there's these two homeless men walking. And I said, hey, 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 I said, have you, so I'm talking to the guy and he's looking at his friend as I'm talking to him. And he's like, we were just talking about that. I said, you guys need to go to the library and you need to look up some books on money because they lost their business. The one of the guys lost his business due to COVID. And I said,
Hmm.
you need to learn about money. So when you learn about money, if anything like that ever happens again, you'll be ahead of the game and not behind it. So take that as a lesson. Okay. And don't think it's strange that you happen to walk past here because to hear the sound of money, I was like, and I turn around, that's where I'm at. That's the person that I am. If I can give you any kind of encouragement in a moment, and so why not host a conference, Tarina? Because you didn't. But, like why not do that? And that's what I was gifted to do. So when I did help me remember the ikigai, the ikigai thing, when I did that, it was I knew that that's what I was meant to do. I'm meant to host events. I'm meant to host conferences. I'm meant to bring women together to give them that that piece that they're missing. And so
Hmm.
I remember sitting in church and I remember just like my soul was dying and she's screaming. She's like, "Why are we here? I'm dying." So I want to be able to host the events and the events, based off of the Ikigai and bring women together to heal their soul, and it's almost like to shove them into the place that they're supposed to be.
Hmm.
Because here we are 4 years later and we're doing some of it, but not all of it, right?
Exactly.
We're bare
Hmm.
minimum. I can't even say, am I
Bare
saying it?
minimum.
We're doing the bare minimum, okay? And
Bare
we're
minimum.
half-assing God. That's what we're doing. We're half-assing. And it's like you could tell he's frustrated because he's like, I told you, I want you to do something. When we think about Moses, what if Moses was out there like, I'm not fit, raise my hands. Hey, raise my hands for what? Free them. You- uh, Manna, come to the mountaintop? I'm not coming up there for.
A whole hot mess.
Right. So when we talk about that, it's that thing. So talking about Daisy is it's like leading you guys to this place and now I know that I'm there's a purpose. We all have a purpose. And we all have something that we are meant to do. So when we talk about the Rihanna effect, because when I look at her, I think of like the epitome. Between her and Beyonce, it's between her and Beyonce is so strategic. Um, you do a whole series and an album, and you like, ta-da! And everybody's like, what just happened? What just happened? The world went crazy when Lemonade came out.
Oh God, that
It
was
was, it
amazing.
was, but I sat there and I thought, how did you, first of all, how did you get people to not tell that you was in the studio? How did you do that? How did you create a whole series with a plethora of songs? Plethora of songs. And no one knew. until the day of release. And when I say Spotify was probably blown up, I mean, it was just like everything was just blowing up. This woman was so strategic. I thought, what? Right? So I probably froze. Did I freeze? I think I froze.
No, you ain't
Oh,
freeze.
okay. So the Rihanna effect is something similar, but not the same. So when we talk about Rihanna, Rihanna was powerful, and she shifted the narrative of what success looks like. Her between her and Beyonce, it's like you couldn't even, you're like, you got to think about Beyonce. She did a quote and she said, "Don't tell nobody what you're doing.
Sure
Don't you
did.
tell them. Don't you tell them what you're doing. You just go out there and you do it. And then surprise, here's lemonade." And people is like banging. Bang, She done created
Yeah.
a whole series from the death of Beyonce to the rise of who she is. When we talk about the yellow dress, Yemaya, is it Oya or Yemaya? One of
Oh
them.
shoot.
Oshun. She out here in the yellow dress talking about, listen, because when I come back, okay, she done made a comeback, right? So it's that ownership. So Rihanna to me is more, she's more subtle and she's so humble in who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she's influenced and she tells us what ownership looks like. So especially for us women of color, she created a whole brand because she's like, listen, y'all ain't making nothing for us, but I will. I'm gonna benefit off of it. And when I say every shade of black, every shade of black. Rihanna wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Okay. So ownership over endorsement with Rihanna. So now we're talking business. And hello, Zakia. I saw you, but I was okay.
Hi, I'm listening.
So when
Hey
we talk
there.
about our
Hey.
businesses, we've already talked about Daisy, okay, the effect of Daisy. Now we're going to talk about like power. Okay. Daisy was just the exemplary um of this little piece. But now we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts of us having ownership over endorsement. It was better for Rihanna to own it than to endorse it. Okay. It's better for you to own Ya Ya Yummy than for you to endorse a Burger King, right? It's
Yeah.
better for me to own an event planning business than to endorse something. It's better for Zakia to own a t-shirt company that is really like it's very spiritual and it's authentically spiritual and it's not anything that you're just kind of just, you know, flip it out quotes. It comes from here because it came from me, right? So when we think about Rihanna and when we talk about Rihanna was like, listen, because I am them. I don't care if I came from Lagos, whatever. I come from Barbados. And so I know y'all don't create makeup for us. So rather than me, endorse a Revlon or um, an Elf or who else is it? Maybelline, whoever. I'm gonna go ahead and create Savage Fenty.
Yeah.
Okay, Fenty Beauty. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I don't know what Fenty Beauty means, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay. So this signals a shift for women from being the spokesperson for a thing to becoming the owner, the CEO of a thing. We can talk about other people's businesses all day, but it's another thing when I own it, okay? Because it empowers me to stop, settling for a seat where God says, I prepared this seat for you right there. He said, I prepared a table before you in the presence of your enemy. Why are you trying to have a seat at another table? I didn't give you that table. I didn't tell you to go to that table. Who told you to go to Revlon? Who told you to go to IHOP or whatever or whoever? Who told you to go to that table? I told you to go to Ya Ya Yummy, right? So it empowers us to stop settling for just a random seat and then for us to be able to have our own table, not even to build it because God said, I've made the table before you. So I created this table before you in the presence of your enemy. All you got to do is sit down, right? So being authentic, and this is what I love about Rihanna. Rihanna's so she's so, and I don't want to say she's like Daisy, but like she's so sweet. Like you could tell like she reeks this aura of just so sweet. And she's so real. And she's not going to sugarcoat nothing. And she's going to give it to you just the way it is, right? So Rihanna's authenticity and her boldness and her refusal to conform. We're not conforming to anything else. So they wanted her to conform to this beauty standard and but it allowed her to connect to who she was, to my my people, to the
Mm-hmm.
audience. Who's your audience? She went and was like them,
All of them.
all of
Yeah.
them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a wide range of women of color, different skin tones, because we all have it. We're caramel, we're walnut, we're toffee, we're caramel, we're mocha, we're all of the shades, right? And so she was like, yeah, I'm gonna find all of these women and I'm gonna create a brand around them because that's my target audience. Okay.
Yep.
Um, so for us in business, it shows that being unapologetically yourself is not a liability, right? That's actually a superpower.
Yes.
Being authentically yah yummy is a superpower. Being authentically for real, that's my superpower. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I sometimes I think, oh, that's a down, that's my fault. And it's my kryptonite because I'm just so authentic. But it's like, no, that's who I am. And
Mm-hmm.
what I love about myself is that people will ask me, what's your opinion? What do you think? What do you think? And so I tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing for you. I'm going to tell you this is what it is, right? So be unapologetically yummy. Be unapologetically, the t-shirt maker and the event planner and that. Be unapologetically that person. So inclusivity is profitable. Okay. So what she did was she made a brand with 40 foundations that disrupted the beauty industry. I mean, when I say disrupted it, and I'm pretty sure there's more shades of us, but those 40 shades, I mean, it just threw them in a tizzy, threw the beauty industry in a tizzy because then what they said was, oh, Fenty Beauty's out here and they're doing something. And so they tried to duplicate it. They tried. Some
Couldn't.
of them ain't getting it right, but they tried. So she created this brand and she built it on a target audience. And it became this thing that proved inclusivity is both morally right and financially smart. Because I'm only geared on one particular set of people, a group of women that have different skin tones and shades,
Like
right?
her skincare is phenomenal.
I've heard. I haven't used it, but I've heard.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrific.
So for us women in business, you can take notes. Serving underrepresented people. Okay. It markets, markets, it isn't just good PR, it's good business for you to be like, well, I'm gonna make some plates, but I'm gonna give some to the homeless. Or I'm gonna
Mm.
make some plates and I'm gonna take part of that donation and I'm gonna give it to women who have been in abuse or women who have gone through whatever you feel, right? So when you hit that target population and then you say the most unrepresented, the most underrepresented people here in Colorado for me are women with children and they're single. We are so under and African Americans as well. So it's becoming this thing where we don't get what we need, especially when it comes down to services, right? So it is profitable for you to do that thing. So when you talk about a brand, what would your business look like for an underrepresented population? Could your money go towards servicing, like a portion of your income go that money go towards, putting someone in culinary school because we know there are kids that want to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So diversified revenue streams. This is where I love Rihanna because she's got Fenty Beauty and then she's got the the line. What is that line? Fenty, not just Fenty Beauty. Savage. Savage X Fenty. So she didn't limit herself to one thing. So we just talked about that. So funny, huh? So we were just talking about how it's like I have so many things, so many things. And I heard you say one step at a time, one thing at a time. But Rihanna, she said, so it's like she went from music to makeup to lingerie to skincare, and she diversified her brand in all of those things. So when you think about Fenty Savage X, you've got nice lingerie at a great price, right? Um, you have a skincare line that is specifically for who?
Black women.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
for us as entrepreneurs, we can learn to think beyond just one single product. Okay. So when you got yeah, yummy, you got cakes, you got, you have a plethora of things. And so don't limit to just making the meal. You got it now you got a cookbook. You can make like little drinks. I mean, you could do so many things with just this one brand with Yeah Yummy. You can make aprons. You can make think about Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown took her saying and she's got it in a planner. My life, my
That's
business.
my business.
Okay? And in throughout the planner, all her little sayings are in the planner in some of the little sections. So no, it's not there. So see, like so, like that. So her saying she built a brand that's colorful. She has that little TV show. I want to say it's a TV show. I want to say it's on YouTube. I'm not sure. Is it? I don't think it's on YouTube. But she built a brand just off of her
A
what she
quote.
says, right? Her colors. She's very colorful. Her nails are always colorful. So when you're looking at key pieces, you're like, oh, so Yeah Yummy could make some, make some t-shirts, make a spoon. I don't know. There's so many things that you could do with that, right? So don't
Mm-hmm.
just limit it to the one thing. There's a plethora. So we can learn to think beyond just a single product or service and build an ecosystem of value. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The next thing is strategic visibility. So Rihanna basically she doesn't do interviews, rarely. And if she does, she's spicy, right? But if she does, she remains so visible still, powerfully. And she's not even the face of her brand, right? She's not even she's it's just well, we know Savage Fenty, we know Fenty X, we know Fenty
The
Beauty,
face is nowhere.
nowhere, but everywhere at the same time. Okay.
Exactly.
And culturally, she's still relevant. Still. She done had a baby, baby number 3, and she's still relevant. She done went to what is that? The Met Gala, pregnant.
Yes.
Sierra's on the Sherry Shepherd's talking about who? Rihanna. So
Yeah.
she's still relevant. So you can still be behind the scenes, but still be powerful at the same time. Okay. So what this is, it teaches us to be strategically silent. Um, it says what they're saying is it teaches strategic silence, mystery, and quality can speak louder than overexposure. Okay. You just being a just yeah yummy. I'll give a meal here and there. I'll do a little dish here and there. And you're still relevant right now in Jersey because they're like, is she coming back? When are you
Yeah.
coming back here? When are you coming back? So when I go back to that event that we hosted years ago, the For Real Ministries, I mean not For Real, it was For Real Entertainment. And I remember hosting that event. And when I hosted that event, the next year they were like, are you gonna do it? 2 years later, and that's what we did. We did so we went to the club and then we did a uh swimsuit competition. We did one for the men
Oh.
and the women. So we did that. And so it's like nobody knew, but then when they found out, they're just like, are you going to do another one? Are you guys going to do it again next year? Because it was fun. Make it fun and make it for the people that you know is going to impact, right?
Yeah.
So the Rihanna effect is something that we need to learn. Okay. So your strategic silence and your mystery and your quality of who you are and what you bring to the table, it speaks so much louder. Because when you talk about yeah, yeah, yummy, and I talk about my t-shirts, people are seeing my t, well, where'd you get that? I was like, one of my girls made it for me. Isn't it pretty? So that's something that speaks loud. The quality of what is given, it speaks louder
Yeah.
because quality comes from your heart. It don't just come because you're just slopping things, placed together, or I'm just out here just willy-nilly just giving just misinformation, and I'm not being authentic with what I got going on. Um, I got my issues too, right? So the next thing is being confident without explanation. And that is what I told you. Like my judgment of me is like, what happened? Like, what happened? And I think it was like the overexposure. And this is one of the things that we got to get used to. When the exposure comes, are you going to be able to handle what that looks like? Are you going to be able to handle all of the people coming at you? I get overstimulated very fast. And so I need to learn how to manage that or be behind the scenes and just put, little things out there. But that's where the judgment came from because now I'm putting myself out there. Now I'm giving all this information. And who does she think she is? Now she's praying and then she's doing tarot readings and that just doesn't mix. And so it's like you try to get people to understand what you think our ancestors did before the Bible had even came.
Exactly.
What you think they was doing? So they were throwing bones, and you lucky I don't know how to do that because I throw them bones, and that'd be that. But anyway, so Rihanna owns her worth. She doesn't apologize for her success. She doesn't apologize for who she's married to. She doesn't apologize because she sets boundaries for herself. So for this emboldens us women to embrace the confidence without compromise. Embrace the fact, and I know that's what you're doing right now. I'm finna take a day, okay? And I don't care. And I'm not gonna compromise yeah, yeah, yummy to appease the next person. I'm not gonna
Exactly.
compromise my ethics to make sure another person is satisfied, right? So it's understanding that you can be powerful and feminine, assertive and nurturing, all at the same time. Okay? All at the same time. So, in essence, the Rihanna effect is about ownership, it's about authenticity, it's about being bold, bold visibility, it's about bold boundaries. And so, for women in business, it's a call to walk in the power, the full power, unapologetically and on your own terms. Rihanna does a lot of things on her own terms. It's not within the means of, well, now she's got to go and she's got to do something for Revlon. No, I own Fenty Beauty. That's me. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't need anybody doing anything. I don't need none of that. And
Mm-mm.
she hosts what is it? Savage Fenty X. She's got that on Prime, Amazon Prime. Her shows are on Amazon Prime. They are. Okay. So I don't see Victoria's Secrets out there, but I do see hers. But all I'm saying is that make a name for yourself and be bold in it and build your brand around being who you are. So what I told you, I didn't tell you, but I talked to Terry the other day. And the Ikigai is a powerful thing that you can learn to do, and it teaches you how to find your purpose, to
Mhm.
find where you are meant to be, so that you can start walking into that gift. We talked about Daisy, and I don't know if you guys ever remember the show. What was it called? It was called gosh, Blood, Sweat, and Heels. Do you guys ever remember that show? So, um, it talks about that. And it was Daisy. So Daisy was in that show. And it just talked about how her level of tenacity, how she built a brand off of just doing the thing that she loved. just by being a stylist, just by styling, she built her brand. So the next thing I want to talk about, and we're gonna log off in like at 8:30-ish, I want to say. Um, because I want us to be able to kind of be consistent with the teaching, the learning, and then, you know, and then give you guys 30 minutes. Like if we log off at 8:30, so at 8 o'clock, we'll do 30 minutes of just kind of just general talk. So somebody's got to keep me on task. Okay. Um, so the next thing I was asking God about the other day, and that saying that says, what God has put together, let no man put us under. And I'm in meditation again, and I hear that, and I was like, uh-oh, because is there a relationship coming? What you saying, right? And he said, nope, mm-mm, mm-mm. This is about business, okay? Everything that you're doing is about business. This is not about you. If you focus on what I'm telling you to focus on, that'll come later. But I need you to focus because there's some things that you're not doing and some things that you're not focusing on because you're so busy trying to focus on the other thing, which now you're at this 10 of swords, this 10 of wands, and it's burdening you because you're not doing what I told you to do. So it's becoming a burden. Okay. So we need you to get busy, right? So he says, what God has put together. And I was like, uh-oh, okay. So now I have to do a chat GPT and I have to figure out how can we get that into the understanding of business, right? So what God has put together, let no man, no one tear apart, right? No one can tear apart anything that God has given. If it is a God thing, no one, and I mean no one, can tear it apart. No one. Okay. So I sent a message to you guys, and it was just a little blurb, and it was in the email. So it was in the email. And what God has put together, God has given it to you. Mark 10 and 9. Okay. So while it's a scripture, it's often spoken in the context of marriage. Okay. So we are married to the business. We made a plan. Okay. We agreed that we would do this thing till death do us part. That's what we agreed to. When we came into the world, before you knew us, he set us down and was like, okay, so this is what you're going to do. And we were like, okay, I can do that. No problem. I can be an intercessor. I can get women together. I can host events and conferences. I can do that. Okay. That's what I agreed to. Okay. So let's see it in a deeper level of in the divine meaning. It's not just about relationships, it's about our destiny, it's about our purpose, it's about the plans that God has for our life. He has joined us to a divine purpose. He has attached us to a specific promise. He has united us with gifts, visions, dreams, and callings that no human, not even you, can mess that up. You can't undo what he has already done, what's already been set in stone. Okay. There's a scripture that says what was is and what is was. We can't change that. No matter if we go back in time, we can't change it. Right. So even while we go through these things, the trials and tribulations, our ups and downs, our ins and outs, death, life, crying, misery, whatever, being alone, being broken up with, it seems like it's just all messed up and that, oh God, I've messed up. So in the beginning, I talked about that where things are happening in my life that I'm not at liberty to share. And I would love to share with you guys. But he's like, nope, I need you to keep it silent. I need you just to ride this out with me. Not everybody needs to know what's going on. Not everybody needs to know what's going on because what if you tell everybody the thing, then it's going to seem like it's bad and it's going to be even more of a burden to you and you're even going to feel it even the more because it's be like, oh my God, girl, I got this going on. And he's like, I need you to shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Okay. Because I need for you to hear me. I don't need you to hear everybody else. So, have you guys ever gone through a moment where all hell is breaking loose? Ah, and it is happening. and you try to call someone and the phone, they don't answer, they don't respond
Mm-hmm.
to your text message, or you can't get through, somehow the phone's not going to connect to the ring, that's him saying, no, they don't need to know what's going on. I need for you to come sit with me and I need you to ride through this, because the only way to get through this is if you have to get through it with me. So when that scripture talks about, I am the way, the truth, and the light, no man can come to the Father except through me. You cannot get to the word unless you come to the word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You cannot get to the word unless and you don't come to it. So when you don't come to the word, how you going to get a word? How you gonna hear from him when you go into Shaquisha and Becky and all these other people? He's like, why are you going to them? I'm the only way, I'm the truth, and I'm the light. I'm the only way that can guide you. The only thing, I'm the only one that can get you where you need to go. And why are you calling everybody else? Because as soon as you call everybody else, they're gonna be like, well, we told you, Terry, you shouldn't have done yummy. We told you you shouldn't have tried to do that. We told you you shouldn't have been trying to do no events or nothing like that, or no prayer, because we just knew it wasn't gonna work. Those are the kind of things that you'll hear, and it
Mm-hmm.
delays you, or it gives you the 10 of Wands where now I'm burdened because I'm trying to tell everybody. So I did a thing, and when I did the thing, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my kids. And so I did this, I'm testing. And so I'm doing this little thing every day. And I finally get certified. And I go through all the background check. I do all this other stuff. And now now I can tell you, I'm a certified notary signing agent, meaning that I
Okay.
can go to do loans and sign off on loans.
Awesome.
Okay. So those are the things that you keep silent. Because if I'd have told somebody that I was like, girl, I signed up for this notary signing agent class, what do you think would happen? Girl, ain't there's no
Put the
loans
knock
out
on
there. The market's too low, or you know, give me an example, Tara. What do you think somebody would have said?
girl, you sure he called you to do it? Like you said, the market's too low. Are you gonna make money off of that? You sure you're gonna make money? You might have just wasted your money on that. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
People are so negative.
So
People are
that's
negative.
why keep it silent.
Hmm.
From today going forward, anything that you want to do, whether it's a relationship, whether it's business, we need to be focusing on business more than the relationship. But anything you do, now it's time to keep it silent.
Hmm.
Okay. Keep it silent. You don't need to know everything. Okay. So even in the bad times, when you feel like all hell is breaking loose, when the rocks is tumbling down the mountain, you're just, oh God, no, I got this. Okay. So to feel like we've missed a mark, it feels like we've messed up, or we're delaying the dream, or, you know, all this stuff is happening, but we really haven't, or, you can't mess this up. You haven't missed the mark. You can't. It says because God has put it together. So remember when I told you I did my little reading for myself and these two cards came
Yep.
out first? God has already put it together. What you thought you could, I thought I could mess up a business. I thought I could mess up a gift. I thought I could mess that up. He's like, no, I already put it together. His will, his calling, his plan for my life. No person, no mistake, no error, nothing can detour me from the 20 years later. Here she is. There's no time or space in anything. He's just like, when you're ready, you just let me know.
Yep.
It's still going to be there waiting for you. It's still going to be happening for you, right? So there's no fear, there's no failure, there's no setback, there's no injury, no illness, nothing. So remember when I even told you when I did this one, what was it? The moon card that came out, the past. Not even my past can hinder for real ministries. Can't mess I can't even do it. No matter how hard I try. So I did the Ikigai, and as I was doing it, I got another name, and I was like, God, there are so many names. Um, But I was like, well, should I change? Should I add another name? Is there another name that I need to have? Um, I can't even find it now. But it was like another name had came up. And I'm waiting. And I'm hindering, but I'm not hindering, but I'm just waiting. All right. So we may stumble this week. We may feel like, oh, I can't keep going on. I don't know what to do. Um, I just heard the scripture, be still and know that I am God. Be
Mm-hmm.
still and know that I'm the word that got you to where you're at today. Be still and know that what I've put together, nobody can mess this up. Nobody. Okay? You can't sabotage this. God sealed it. When he created us and he said, before I knew you, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I knew who you were. I knew that you were going to be you were predestined to do the thing you're trying to accomplish now. It's like
Yep.
it's sealed in an envelope and you can't break it. You can't if you know how you can burn an envelope here, you put it in the envelope, you burn it. It's like that. You can't do anything. Okay? There's no turning back. What is that song that says no turning back, no turning back.
No turning back.
You know what
No
I'm talking? You
turning
know the song
back.
I'm talking about.
No turning back.
You can't turn back.
Uh-huh.
You can't go the opposite direction. No matter which way you go on your journey, this is something you're still going to have to do. You're still going to have to climb the mountain. You're still going to have to go the distance. You're still going to have tenacity. You're still going to have courage. You're still going to have strength. It's still something that you have to do. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how many times you try to run from it, you're still going to have to do it.
Yep.
Okay? And I would rather get it done than to die and have it looming and people and missing the mark and the blood's on my hand that I didn't meet the people where I was supposed to meet them. So there's this saying, it says, I may stumble, but I cannot sabotage what God has sealed. So I need you guys to let it sink in. Okay. God sealed this. Every gift, every purpose, every plan, he sealed that. We can't get away from it. No matter how we can't get away from it. Okay. I can't get away from it. No matter what I try to do. I can't. Okay. So it's putting you back to reposition you back into the grace and his alignment and taking that bold action, taking the step to say, okay, God, what do I need to do? Okay. Finding my purpose because I probably lost it somewhere along the way. Okay. Because I was doing everything and anything, but not the thing that I should have been doing. So I was doing anything and everything, but not the thing that I was predestined to do. The thing that makes me live, the thing that makes me, forget about tomorrow, that makes me forget about the moments. The times that we're sitting here all hours of the night till 10, 11 o'clock at night, we're just sitting here just chopping it up, talking, and you guys are just free. And when you go to bed at night, you're just like, that, it felt good. Now you can get a good night's rest because guess why? You got the day off of you, right? So it's having those moments and being able to share myself with women and allowing them to get, let's get this off of you so we can focus. We can get our mindsets together, right? So we are daughters of the Most High. We got to understand that that's my daddy. That's our daddy. That's who he is. So nothing about our journey is accidental. Nothing about us meeting is accidental. Nothing about that day that I was doing tarot readings is accidental. Nothing about the day that I heard this voice say go live was accidental. Because I wasn't even terrified. It was just like, what? In that moment. But there was nothing accidental about us coming together as a group. There's nothing accidental about us finding purpose. There's nothing accidental about us coming together in this setting and having, this friendship and this sisterhood. There's nothing accidental about that. Okay. So, um, God's plan is still unfolding. It's on time. So it may not come, that there's that saying, it may not come when you want it, but it's always on time.
Um,
It's always on time. because that's what he said. My time is not your time. My ways, not your ways. The way I think ain't even the way you think. Okay? That's not even how we're doing it. That's not how we're doing it. And I want to read it out of the that out of the text. I'll be right back. Let me go get my Bible. Hold on. All right, sorry, y'all. Now I gotta look it up. Gotta look it up. Because I know that there's one that I love. Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. And I want to say it's in the Amplified that I read it. All right. Uh, Okay, so Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. This is out of Amplified, and I'm reading it out of the Message as well. It says, seek the Lord. This starts at 6. So when we talk about business, when we talk about our purpose, when we talk about his plan, why am I getting when we talk about his plan, when we talk about his purpose, when we talk about our destiny, when we talk about our calling, when we talk about our gift, okay? He told me, hey, I need you to come here. So I had to go in my living room, but I was sitting here and I just felt this draw. And he's like, come to me so I can tell you what you need to hear from the source, not from everybody outside of your world, but internally. I need you to come into the church. If I'm the church, I need you to come into yourself and I need you to hear the message that I'm giving to you. So Isaiah 55:11 says, 55 starts at verse 6 says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him for salvation while he is near. Let the wicked leave behind his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Think, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Okay. And let him return to the Lord or return to the word. Come back here. Come to me. And he's like, come here because I need to tell you something. Okay. And he will have compassion or mercy on him and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. Verse 8 says, for my thoughts are not your thought, nor are my or your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. That's out of the Amplified. I know it's the Message Bible that just tickles my fancy, just tickles me. Um, so the Message Bible, remember I told you guys it gives you a chunk. So Message Bible verse 6 says, seek God while he's here to be found. Pray to him while he's close at hand. Let the wicked abandon their way of life and their evil way of thinking. He's telling you, you keep thinking these limiting beliefs, these negative thoughts that's evil. It's an evil thing for you to sit here and think, well, I can't do it. And, people is going to be, they're going to say some things about me. It's evil. He's telling us it's an evil thought for you to think that way about your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let him come back to God, who is merciful. Come back to your God, to our God. Come back to the word. God is the word. Come back to the word, who is lavish with forgiveness. The word it helps you forgive yourself. Okay. It's time that we start forgiving ourselves. Now, I don't know who this is for, but it's really time for you to start forgiving yourself for it's like what I just heard is due process. Stop
Hmm.
going through this thing. And what does due process mean? Due process. Hold on. Y'all know, here we
So
go.
isn't that legal due process? Isn't that like in the courts?
Due process is yeah, it's something to do with the courts. Of course, my phone. Um, give me the meaning. Father.
You got it?
No.
I can get it.
Did you
You
get it?
want it in the you want it in a spiritual sense or book sense?
Both.
Okay.
Okay, so I got it on this one. So it's
Okay.
a fundamental principle of fairness in legal proceedings, ensuring that individuals are treated justly and have a fair opportunity to defend their rights. It's a cornerstone in the Constitution found in the Fifth and Fourth Amendments, protecting citizens from arbitrary government actions and guaranteeing a fair trial. Essentially, due process requires that legal procedures be followed fairly and according to established rules. Okay. Did you find it in the spiritual?
I sure did.
Can you read it for me, ma'am?
Okay. I sure will.
Thank you.
Okay, so due process means okay, in legal terms, due process means fairness, respect for rights, and the step-by-step unfolding of justice. When you bring that into a spiritual context, it can mean this: respecting your own timing. Just like in law, not everything happens instantly. You go through a spiritual process, awakening, grieving, shedding, healing, becoming. You're not skipping steps to just look healed. You're moving through divine timing, not rushing the lesson. It's honor your inner laws, allowing soul justice to unfold, giving others space to evolve.
Due process.
It is a process.
Listen, I love, and this, when I was in my worship, I told God, I love that you call me, and I love that you give me the messages. I love how you just break it down. That gives me so much joy. Words, powerful for me because it breaks it due process. Stop, just go through the due process. And I think either he said stop it or due process. Do it. Go
Is
through the
exactly.
healing. Stop trying to stop yourself. Go through the healing. Go through it. You can't get to something else unless you go through it.
Gotta go through it.
You got to go through it. There's no way around it. There's no way. What is that song? No way to fold them, no way to hold them. You got to go through this. There's
Go
no way around it. You have to go through a thing to get to a thing. Okay? That's like riding a train. I got to get on the train and I got to ride the train till I get to my journey, right? To my destination.
Yeah.
He said, "Where you can't even tell me where you want to go because you're not going through due process. You're not even coming to me to ask me. You asking everybody else. Well, girl, what did you put on your hair? Well, girl, what did you use for your skin? Well, girl, what did you use to lose weight?" He said, "No, because what works for them ain't gonna work for you. That's why you need to
Yeah.
come ask me." Okay? Everything that we see on this TikTok and everything we see in this world and asking our friends, it may not work for you. Come to me. That's why he said, come here. Come here so I can tell you what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Like that little girl said, worry about yourself. Worry about yourself, but due process. Okay? So did I say go don't do stop due process? Did I say stop it or go through? I don't remember what I said. Anyway,
Go through. Go through due process. Due process.
due
You said
process.
go through.
Okay? You gotta go through all of that. You got to be healed, you got to be whole, you got to go through it. Okay? You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna do no. So I remember when I started this, one of the things that I said was when I was going through businesses and I was doing all these different businesses, what I found is a lot of my traumas were coming into business. So everything
We
that I
talked
was doing,
we talked about that too.
everything personal was coming into business. So I don't know how to act right. So when you're looking at all these different women that are in businesses and you could see their behaviors, baby, that ain't gonna that's a trigger from that you didn't get healed and now here you in business and you moving so messed up. Meaning you're not being authentic, you're not being your product sucks. Who wants to do it? You think about if Rihanna was like a who's a bad, I don't want to say, I don't know. Think about if she wasn't who she says she was. If you know you're out here and she's not humble, or she's got a nasty attitude, or her products are messing up and she's only servicing a small demographic of women. She said, I got 40. I'm gonna make 40 shades. Okay. There's 40 different shades of women. And I guarantee you in her mind, she's like, I know that there's more, but I'm gonna just go limit it to 40. And then I'm gonna rock the nation and I'm gonna rock the whole beauty industry because I said there's 40. So let's go ahead and do 40. So when we talk about that, it's like I didn't want to be a business owner and I'm walking around here and I got my mommy issues that are trickling into when there's a woman in leadership that emulates my mother. I'll be like, oh no, I can't even mess with you. Or I'm finna attack you because I can't attack her. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm finna come at you the way I would want to come at her because I got to deal with that. Okay. Due process. Okay. Go through due process. Anyway, let's finish. Because I got 3 minutes. All right.
You got 3 minutes.
Okay. So this is my favorite reading of this message, the Message Bible, of this scripture. Verses 8 through 11. He said, listen, uh, Tangela, I don't think the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
The way you work isn't the way I work. That's God's decree. So that means he sealed it. So when he brought us here, he put it in an envelope, cute little envelope, right? And he sealed it, took it and sealed it. That's not how I was thinking. Okay. So I don't even know how you're thinking. What do I wasn't thinking that way. Okay. That's decree. I sealed it. Chink. Okay. He said, for as the sky soars high above the earth, so the way I work surpasses the way you work, Tangela. And the way I think, Zakia, is beyond the way you think. Just as the rain and the snow descend from the skies and don't go back until they've watered the earth, doing their work of making things grow and blossom. That is what we are here to do, Tara, to help people grow and to blossom. Okay? Producing seeds. God, I thank you for this word. Producing seed. Okay? For the farmers and food for the hungry. So will the word that comes out of my mouth. Just think of this as a word. Okay? It shall not come back empty-handed. I put the word inside of it. It's not going to come back empty-handed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They'll do the work I sent them to do. They'll complete the assignment I gave them. That's what he said. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You can't change the direction of it. You can't pass it on to nobody else. It's got to be done by you. Amen. All right.
Amen.
So let's stay connected. Let's stay rooted and empowered. Due process as we walk out what heaven has already declared over us. Okay. We don't have time to be out here playing. Amen. All right.
Amen.
My 3 minutes is up. I did it. Well, I did it in two. I did it in 2 minutes. All right. Here's the question I want to ask. Do we want to keep recording or do we want to take this offline?
Take it offline.
All right.